Alright, this is going to be video one of a multi-video series on how to go from Orthodox into Southpaw very easily in a way that's defensively responsible, quick, doesn't use a lot of energy, and it's a way that if you're not really good with the other stance, if you're not good at the footwork, it's fine. And I know everyone wants to believe that they're a switch hitter or a right-handed Southpaw, but truth is, not very common. So we need to know how to deal with being put in that position and put ourselves in that position as well for offensive purposes. But for our first video, the beginner version, it's just going to be defensive because I'm assuming we're not at that level yet where we're actually mounting kind of more sophisticated offenses. So what you'll see often with two Orthodox fighters is circling clockwise, right? There's a few reasons for that, but mainly it's just tactical reasons which go into in more advanced, and the fact that it's just easier to pivot the back foot this way, right? But what's going to happen is if I'm Orthodox boxing my opponent, right? So my opponent is here. Just remember this general line. And he moves clockwise, gets over here. Well, technically, I've gone from Orthodox to a really shitty Southpaw, very squared up Southpaw. The reason is because the only difference between Orthodox here and Southpaw all the way here, Orthodox, Southpaw, is the orientation of my front and rear foot, right? Which way they face. That's why this can be easy without learning any kind of footwork, because the mechanics of the punching is basically all the same. It's literally just different positions with the ankles and the knees, and your hips are twisted a bit, but everything else, it's the same mechanics, right? You're twisting your body the same, the punches are the same. So it's an easy way to learn. So what will happen, right, is, like I said, we're circling, and then maybe I'm not so good at pivoting, or I'm slow, or my opponent's really good, and he's quick, and he gets here before I can do anything. So I'm in this shitty position where he's got this good angle on me. He's got all of this exposed, and I need to come here quickly. So I'm going to do a couple things. First, immediately, I'm going to put up my guard. I'm going to do a high guard, cover my ear, right? I'm going to put my shoulder up, right? Crunch. Kind of a defensive guard, right? But I want, because, you know, when I'm like here, I might have a different guard, but when I get to the position where he's put me here, I want it to be tight and up, especially because I'm going to get hit here to the body, right? So I want to crunch down a bit. So that's the first step before anything. You see him go there and you can't move with your feet, even if you are moving your feet at the same time, get your defense. Get your defense with your hands. I have a few options from here. One is I can simply pivot myself, right? Which is what's going to happen most common, right? I have a video on pivoting, multi-step, how to learn it, good way to learn it. I'll link it in the video. You should be able to do that by this point. If you're trying to learn what I'm teaching you now, I would say you should probably know that. At least, it does not be perfect, but you should know how to at least be like stepping, like at least like that, right? You at least need to be able to understand how to move in that direction, right? So, hands up, pivot. That's number one. Number two, hands up, pivot without a step. Just twisting, right? Because now I've put my body into my new alignment where he's going to be. And now I'm in Southpaw, but I'm in a responsible position, right? Because I'm facing my opponent. He doesn't have this amazing angle on me where he would here where I'm all open. I'm like this. I'm not in my preferred stance, but still, it's a lot better, right? And from here, I could clinch. If we're in MMA or whatever, I could take him down, all these different things. But for boxing, you know, I could clinch, kickboxing, all these things, right? Different things you can do. You probably don't want to clinch too much in kickboxing, though, but it's another story. So, number one, hands, pivot. Number two, always starts with hands. Hands, twist, right? Just so I'm facing. And usually, unless he's moved super back and outside, or moves back once I do this to get at his good range, we're going to be close enough anyways where it'll be neutralized. Like we might not even be tied up, but we'll be so close that nothing can really get through because I'm tight, and it'll just be these punches, and then I can just move back. And that's number 3. Is I'm just gonna same thing, step back, right? So hands, twist, step back. Now, probably don't have time to do all of that. So instead of doing it in that like jerky, like hands, twist, step back way, it's more going to be one step that is a little bit circular. So instead of stepping just back or back like that and pivoting, I'm just going to be stepping angular, diagonally, right? So been moved here, and I'm going to step back in my stance like that, right? And that's the basic, right? Hopefully, as you can do that, you can start being able to like slide a lot more to get more distance, because you want to, and I'm going to go into this in the other videos, but you see, you want to get some distance because you want to have some time to recover, especially if he's stepped because he's going to be advancing. I shouldn't go into this. This is more advanced. So that's just very basic what you do. So just remember, it always starts, if you're a beginner, get your hands up. And no matter what guard you like, whether you're like a Philly shell guy, or you have like a front guard, you have kind of a classic stance, you have your hands down a cross guard, whatever. Get them up, crunch your body a little bit, maybe turn in a bit. Really defensively responsible, right? Cover as much of your side, because this is what's going to be exposed, is all of this, right? So if I'm like this, see the difference between that and that, right? So hands, twist, step back, or if I can pivot, I'll pivot. And hands too with pivot is probably good. Don't want to obstruct your eyesight, but you know, if you're able to pivot though, you're probably at a good range where you can just keep your regular stance if it's like this, right? So that's absolute beginner. We'll build from that.